So our property of exponents, we have when we're multiplying expressions, we're going to add the exponents. When we are dividing expressions, we're going to subtract exponents. When we have a power, which is an exponent, raised to another power, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply exponents. Okay, so another easy property to add to this is anything raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. Okay, and then we'll also talk about negative exponents. Okay, and what those do is they flip the base to either the numerator or denominator. So if it's in the numerator, the top is going to flip to the denominator, to the bottom. If that negative is in the denominator, it's going to flip to the numerator. Okay, so those are our properties of exponents. So let's go over a couple examples of these. So I'm going to erase this so we can put some examples up. So we'll start with multiplying. So if we are multiplying expressions, okay? So what we need to do is we need to multiply any of the coefficients being the numbers in front of the variables. Okay, those just get multiplied like normal. Okay, now if we have variables with the same base, x, okay, we're going to take those exponents and we are going to add them. So we're going to have 2 plus 3. Okay, so our final answer for this expression is 6x to the 5th power. Okay, because we're multiplying our coefficients but adding our exponents. Okay, now let's do another one. Okay, so this time we're dividing. We have an expression that we're dividing. So same with up here. Whatever we're doing up here, we're still doing with the numbers. So we multiplied. Okay, here we're still going to divide. So we're still going to do 6 divided by 3. Or, excuse me, 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to subtract these exponents. So 7 minus the 4 leaves us with 3m cubed. Okay, let's do our power to power. Okay, so what I have is I have an expression with an exponent in it being raised to another exponent. Okay, so just like these other examples, the number still acts the same. So the 4 is still getting squared. Okay, just like normal. But what the difference is here is my base here, x, these two are going to multiply. So I'm going to say 5 times 2. So once my expression is all done, I'm going to simplify to 16x to the 10th power. Okay? So the big mistake that gets made here usually is this base. You guys forget to raise the base, the coefficient. This coefficient raised to that power. Okay? So those are your basic properties, just in a very basic way. Okay, let's do a couple of negative exponents, and then we'll kind of mix all this together. Okay, so let's see. So if we have this expression here, what I have is this negative exponent. The negative exponent is saying that the x squared, that part, is not in the right place. So you need to flip it from the numerator to the denominator. And once it comes to the denominator, it is in the correct place and the negative goes away. So that is how negatives work. Let's look at one where it's on the bottom. Okay, so in this example, the negative is in the denominator. The negative is saying, hey, I'm not in the right place. Move me to the top. Once x to the fourth gets moved to the top, it's in the correct place. So the negative is no longer needed. Okay. And now let's mix everything together a little bit. All right, so here's an expression that we have that we need to simplify. That's usually the direction, simplify. Okay, so we have a couple things going on. We have some negatives in here. Okay, we can deal with the negatives now or just wait. Whatever happens when stuff is mixed together, you still just want to do one step at a time. Okay, so I'm going to start with just using the multiplication. And what do we do with multiplication? We multiply the number, the coefficients, but add the exponents. So I have 2 times 4, so that's going to stay as is. 2 times 4, okay? Next, I have m. Now my m has to match my other m, the base of that. So then I have 2 plus negative 1. Okay, then n. Now if there's no exponent, it's an exponent of 1. So we have 1 plus 4, and then here we have p, and that's negative 3 plus 5. Okay, once I get it all written out, you can probably skip that eventually, this step, but now we just simplify. So 2 times 4 is 8, then we have m to the first, n to the fifth, and p squared, okay? I do not have to write this one here. And that would be my answer. Okay, now let's mix a division problem. Okay, so we have some negatives, we have a 0 power, We also are dividing this expression. So let's just start with dividing first and see what happens. So we have 6 divided by 2, and that would be 3. Okay. Now I have 0 where it's at. X to the 0 is just 1. So really, if that's just 1, I really don't need to worry about it. So x to the 4th is going to stay where it's at. So it's going to stay here on the bottom. Okay. Now y to the -7. The negative says these 7y are not where they're supposed to be. So if that's the case, I'm going to move them down here. Okay. So if these 7y's need to move down here with these 2y's, I have a total of 9y's on the bottom. Okay, and lastly, these 2 z's are not where they're supposed to be. They need to move to the top. So once I move these 2 z's to the top, with the 3 z's that are already there, how many z's are up top? There's going to be 5. Okay, now that's not what that's going to look like all together. It would look like this. Okay, and I believe this is all you need for the first part until you get to rational exponents, and I will do another video over rational exponents. I'm going to try tomorrow. Okay, please send me a message, either email, Remind, or Google Classroom if you have any questions with any of this or anything on your Edmentum page. Okay, thank you.